Okay, so these videos are just for fun. I do want everyone to know that. Um, I find it very hilarious that so many people have a notion of spirits, guides, ascended masters actually giving a shit about the fact that they didn't exercise today or didn't meditate today or did meditate for the last 6 days or the last year. It's First of all, I don't really know where this concept of having a spirit team or a group of guides came from. Some spiritual traditions actually consider that offensive. Think about that. Think about your guides or even your ascended ancestors having gone through all of this work to transcend this mortal coil, to transcend the physical plane, not just by death and cycling back into the, wheel of karma and whatnot, but by actually doing work. And you assume that they're just hanging out all day, twiddling their thumbs, watching you and trying to guide you along your rocky little path. Now, I'm not saying so that's pretty offensive to some spiritual traditions because that's basically what we're saying. They have nothing better to do than just watch you and your pitiful little life all day long. Now, I'm not being super negative about this because I actually do believe that there are spirits around us, but we also have to put it into terms, metaphysical terms. There is no time for them. They're not just sitting there, you know. So I find it really cheeky that people are making memes about that kind of stuff these days. I enjoy memes, I'm posting them all the time, but it's just to like either like make somebody wake up, have a nice laugh, or to inspire people. So I have a few modest examples here. Let's just go ahead and jump over. This is probably the most obvious ones. Most obvious one. Ugh, this bitch, and I just don't think that that's happening. I want this video to be funny, but of course I have to bring everything else back to actual spirituality. This is not happening. At the very least, if you do have this whole cadre of guides watching your every move and your every mistake and your every moment, they don't care whether you mess up. They don't care if you were lazy today. They know ultimately it doesn't matter because whether you do nothing in this life or are a horrible person, you're going to pay for it and make up for it later because that's how it works down here. It's not that important to get everything right in this life. And the other point that I really want to make about all of that is if you're trying at all, you're doing better than 99.9% of the population of this planet right now. Okay? Think about that too. So, yes, moving on. I like these ladies. Just like, I can just imagine them going through service all day and then just like coming out for a cigarette, and that's when they actually open up and be themselves. But yeah, I don't think that your spirit guides are hanging around and going, ugh, being all judgy and stuff like that. This is stuff that we can laugh about, but we also have to. This one's my favorite. I actually had the thought when I was seeing this one was like, could I do that? I already have a an Xbox. It's fine. This is one that I actually think is a problem, and I want to do a whole series on exposing inconsistencies and problems with the New Age. And again, I'm saying New Age very loosely. I enjoy what the New Age came from and what it is supposed to be, what it attempts to be. There's a sort of perennialism that runs through it, a perennial philosophy. There's the appreciation of all other spiritual traditions and forms, the idea that all paths lead to God and that kind of thing. And that's totally me. I'm even getting there more lately as I explore other things, my own lines of research and whatnot. But what I mean by new age when I say that usually is this kind of bullshit. You know, my spirit guides, we need you to do this with no logical explanation. We just need you to trust your intuition, and yes, you will probably look crazy, but it needs to be done. And me going, ugh, my God, you gotta be kidding me. Not again. That's not your guides. Okay, I'm just saying it point blank. That is not your spirit team. That is not your group of ancestors or the people that you work with. They will never tell you to do anything or to not do anything. They will never. This sounds like a wild goose chase to me right here. We need you to just do it and just trust your intuition. I don't even know what intuition means in a meme like this. You'll probably look crazy. Guess what? Because you are. All right? That's what's going on here. So this is like low level spirits trying to mess with you. If they're, or it's your own, ego and your own fractured parts of your personality, which is fine. We all have, infinite selves or have been so many other people in the past. Personality is way more than just construct of an ego and a super ego and the id or the subconscious and all of that stuff. These were far out concepts. Psychology was cuckoo bananas to most people when it came out, that you could actually have a science of the mind. What? You're not going to tell me that I am anything but what I am, and you're not ultimately. So that's a really interesting thing to do. But yeah, I don't know what intuition means in this case. It means just doing more tarot readings and pendulum stuff, and just that's not spiritual work. And if they take you on any wild goose chase of any time, then those are not your friends. Those are not your guides. Okay. I think I skipped one. No. Yeah, this one I actually agree with. Because you know what I've been saying about guides and whatnot. It's like, they don't care. It's not, there's not like empathy or care or love. They exist in that state. They are pure that. All right. And so whether you say, it's like, oh, should I care that Sandra stole my latte and like teach her a lesson? No. Should I teach her a lesson? Sure. Why the fuck not? It doesn't matter. This is just one little life, and your experience is such a little microcosmic portion of that. It does not matter. And so when I see something like this, nope, you shouldn't care. And that's not to be nihilistic or just like down and negative all the time, but literally, you should not invest your energy into something that really doesn't matter, which is most things, honestly. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say for all of these things. Yeah, so I'm just trying to have some fun with these memes and the new age nonsense and all of that. What I mean is pop spirituality. That's what I was trying to say. So yeah, it's not that your guides hate you. They don't care if you masturbated furiously today or did nothing for the last week, or if you were really rude to that person. Obviously, if your guides are there, if that's a framework, a modality from which you work in a spiritual matter, all they care about is that you're trying. All right? If you are trying to be more aware, if you're trying to be more better, if you're trying to live a good life and be kind to other people, and do some spiritual work, try to get to know God, however you define that, however you do that, they are so freaking proud of you. All right. And so is all the Jesuses and all the gods and all of those. I forgot one thing. So in that same vein, with your guides being proud of you, you've probably heard me mention this anecdote 1,000 times on my channel, but it's very powerful. It was from Yogananda, and one of his teachers was, one of his students, excuse me, was struggling, meditating all the time, having all of these profound spiritual experiences, mystical experiences, but he really still felt down that he wasn't getting to the right place. He wasn't doing well enough. And he said, I just think I must have like really, really bad karma. It's just taken me so long. And it's just, oh, this process and all the things that I'm processing and going through. And I just think I have awful karma. What do you think, Master? And of course, Yogananda said, I will tell you now. It takes very, very, very good karma just to want to know God. And he's right. Like I said before, if you're trying at all to get to know God, if you're trying at all to be a more spiritual person, if you're trying to meditate, if you're trying to learn energy work, if you're trying to figure out what this stuff is about, and just even reading spiritual texts and things, doing research, then you have pretty good karma. And you're doing better than most of the population of this